Welcome back, welcome back. This is Norval Central coming back at you with a YouTube video for the first time in what seems like forever. So now we are at 2.2 subscribers on YouTube, and I appreciate all the love and the support so far that you've had throughout my channel. I just want to hope that everyone has a great Florida State football season this year because it cannot get worse than the disaster we had last year at 2-10. I had to kind of remain my own sanity with certain parts of everything because man, that Florida State football season was rough to watch. But now we are at 2025. We have a new coaching staff. We have new energy. We have new life. Alabama is coming to town in the season opener, so we have to find a way to be positive, optimistic. But I can't lie to you. Everything last year that was told from us, with the offensive line being something great and our offense being great, the team was going to be something to compete for a playoff and a national championship and also for the conference championship as well, just fell through the drain. So we kind of have to find ways to be successful. So obviously today I want to talk about reasons to trust Florida State's rushing attack. Last year we saw the rushing attack was supposed to be the foundation, the identity of the team. That did not happen. So how can we kind of turn back the fold and kind of give reasons to actually believe this season? I think we have some proven evidence here. So let's start off with the first one. We added former UCF and Boston College quarterback transfer Thomas Castellanos. He had 1,113 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns in 2013 or 2023 under Jeff Hafley. So obviously, when you think about that, his first season under Bill O'Brien in 2024, he only had 194 rushing yards. So he got benched as well. You know, there was a lot of things that weren't going right for him, but now he's reunited with Gus Malzahn, the new offensive coordinator for Florida State. This was kind of a move that Florida State fans didn't really expect. It was kind of out of left field, and they wanted to kind of have some answers there. Now you finally have someone that's actually emphasizing running the football. So UCF, they ranked in the top 10 of college football last season with 248 rushing yards per game. That is massive. That is not even remotely close to where Florida State had. They could barely even get to 90 rushing yards last season. So it's definitely going to have to be a work in progress with what they have. Biggest thing is Malzahn had R.J. Harvey, who was now at the Denver Broncos in the NFL, and he was kind of his workhorse back. Not necessarily saying Florida State needed to have a workhorse back because I thought Usman Kroma was going to be that guy that they were going to have. Even though he was a true freshman, I thought that he had enough potential to be able to kind of be that guy. But now you bring in a guy like Gavin Sawchuk, who is a former Oklahoma running back transfer. He had over 700 yards last year, 9 touchdowns in 2023. And then you turn around in 2024, he had a little bit of injuries. So there is a little bit of risk involved there, just like Thomas Castellanos. But really, when you think about it, when there's a lot of rushing attack that you have, there's kind of lack of weapons in terms of Deuce Robinson. He's only had about 700 yards in his 2 years at USC. You had a guy like Squirrel White who's had 800 yards in the SEC at Tennessee in 2023, but then you turn around in 2024, he got hurt. So you're having to bring in a guy like Javen Boggs, who's a true freshman. I think he's very talented, and I think he can be that guy at the true freshman spot. But he is a true freshman. You have to kind of realize that he's a youngster. He's still learning things. It's going to be a growing process with his offense. So while I'm not really saying that Malzahn's system is this great passing concepts thing, Castellanos is going to win a Heisman Trophy, I'm not even necessarily even saying any of that at all. It could be a decent passing attack. But even if it's decent, I still think that rushing attack can be successful, especially if they have this veteran offensive line. Problem is, last year we saw this veteran offensive line that was supposed to be Darius Washington being an All-American. It didn't really pan out that way. So now you got Herb Hand coming in instead of Alex Atkins, who's now at LSU. You're trying to find ways to be proficient around that offense with this offensive line. Herb Hand's been around a Power Five offenses like Texas, Auburn, Vandy. The list goes on and on with his Power Five experience. But he's had basically this blueprint that he has with other offenses as well. Gunnar Hansen, who I think is a good offensive tackle. I think you can build around it. Micah Pettis, if he stays healthy, 6'7", 350 pounds. I think a guy like Luke Pettibone is going to be a really fantastic piece that I really like out of Wake Forest. Started over 20 games. You got a guy like Richie Leonard who's going to be back from injury. And then you also got a guy like Adrian Medley, who I think is also going to be a fairly decent piece. Had him at UCF last season with Herb Hand. So I really think Florida State's going to have this offensive line looking decent. I'm not even saying they're going to be great. I'm not even going to promote the Nick Saban going to have a top five defensive line and then they absolutely do not show up. I don't want to have those expectations on this team, but I do think this rushing attack can be successful. Maybe not against Alabama to a degree because I think there's going to be a lot of pressure in terms of that. But as we go throughout the season, I think this rushing attack is going to kind of be able to be successful if Thomas Castellanos can be able to find those open passing lanes, slants, drag routes, and then maybe even throw a couple over the seam to kind of keep the defenses honest. I think this can definitely be a Florida State offense that can be kind of run with. Not necessarily going to say a top 20, 25. I think it could be a top 50 offense, maybe even a top 60, but I definitely think Florida State's going to go in the right direction. If they can even double their point total from last season, about scoring about 14 points a game last year, going to about 28th, not even really saying that's great and spectacular because that's probably ranking around 68th or 67th in the country. But I do think Florida State's going to have success this season rushing the football. Let me know what you think about the rushing attack for this season. I think Florida State's going to have a great, great season in terms of rushing attack. You could see probably even 170, 160 yards this season per game. I think can definitely be able to be doable, doubling your total from last season. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. And as always, go Noles.